then at one point, Mario pulls out a spliff, and I look at my kids and I ask, are we in the right theater? This week, Xbox tossed out a brand new partner preview. And it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't pitched as anything crazy. Pretty much just stuck to their established formula. They do that thing where they always tell you what kind of announcement you just watched. You know, like, just to be clear, that was the Xbox released window reveal of Dispatch. And then at the end, it culminates in this one slate where you get to see every single game that you just saw a presentation of. And again, I actually like that. I think PlayStation and Nintendo should both just copy that. Copy it. Anyway, this was everything that was shown, and I found two of these trailers to be particularly lacking in a way, missing pieces. It's this kind of thing where we all know that a lot of work goes into these trailers, and yet it just makes me even more confused. I think, what are we doing here? There's just pieces missing, is all I'm saying. So this week I'd like to basically do trailer breakdowns for The Expanse, Osiris Reborn, and Artificial Detective. So let's start with The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. So this game was announced just last year with a trailer that would go on to be nominated for a Golden Joystick Award for Game Trailer of the Year. Learning this, I had to go back and rewatch it. Like, what did I miss? And really, it's mostly CG and mostly unremarkable. I don't fully understand the nomination. And now I think it is fairly safe to say that this week's gameplay reveal will not be nominated for Best Trailer of 2026. Firstly though, one trailer concept I'm really attached to is gaming language shorthand. Basically this idea where if you're showing something to a gaming-centric audience, they'll know what you're saying without you having to say too much. If you see 3 cards in a trailer, you know you're going to go on some runs. If they show a guy punching a hole in his CD display case, we know that's a super hard platformer. If you see a time skip between a young couple and a lonely old man, you know you're getting a Disney Pixar's Up-like. For a funny opposite example of shorthand, there was this brand new Pokemon Champions overview trailer released this week. And a strange thing about this 6-minute trailer is they go into specific detail on what it technically means to have Pokemon battle each other.
Players alternate turns with moves. Win by reducing the HP of all your opponent's Pokemon to 0.
Pretty simple, right? Okay, now you gotta know you can spend VP to swap natures and abilities. Look, we'll explain how an HP bar works, but we will not explain natures. Okay, you can figure that out on your own. Anyway, with The Expanse, Osiris Reborn, there are a lot of funny instances of shorthand. Here's the very first shot of actual gameplay. Walking out in the open, chucks a grenade, shoots in the general direction of the explosion. You get it. Action. The game has explosions and falling icicles. One of the very last things they show, a guy getting pushed onto his back in a purple room. That's shorthand for sex. And then here's all they needed to show for you to understand the game has dialogue options.
I didn't become a mercenary to run away from my enemies.
And why I call that shorthand is that they just want to give you the impression of dialogue options. They didn't keep it up for long enough for you to read it. If you pause the video, you see the option we selected is cool guys don't run away from problems. And I figure that's a pop culture reference to Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions, a song produced for the 2009 MTV Movie Awards. But then in the trailer, you hear that the dialogue wasn't explicitly cool guys don't run away from problems. He said, I didn't become a mercenary to run away from my enemies, which is cool, right? But we could see the full dialogue. The character continues, cool guys solve problems with extreme prejudice. Now, I'm a little torn on that, obviously, because it is incredibly funny writing if it's intentionally bad writing. However, if the writer didn't actually know how stupid that sounds, the whole game is in jeopardy. But generally, I think the intent of the trailer as a whole is to shorthand Mass Effect. Please think of Mass Effect. And they're not exactly tiptoeing around that. So IGN had a big The Expanse Osiris Reborn interview last June, in which game design producer Yulia Chernenko admitted the original Mass Effect trilogy is absolutely an inspiration. It was iconic for the Xbox 360 generation of gamers. Many of us played it in our teenage years, and it left a lasting impression. We are building on that legacy and expanding what players anticipate from this experience. So they're just flat out making a Mass Effect game. And then further into that paragraph, the combat reflects the standards of modern action gameplay. The narrative emphasizes political tension and moral complexity.
An enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And yes, there's romance too.
Surely a little gun doesn't scare you.
So regarding the missing pieces, I think the next Osiris Reborn trailer should include these 3 things. 1, firstly, gameplay that features the player making any intelligent decision. Like, put some thought into what the player is actually doing in the game. 2, actually an intriguing dialogue choice. Like, spell it out what the person's deciding between. Not, which quip should I use? And then 3, much, much more explicit romance. Do not be shy. And you know what I mean by that. And then let's talk about Artificial Detective. It's a brand new game announcement from Vivix, a brand new game studio. I'd say announcement trailers for original games have a lot more heavy lifting to do than, say, your typical Wuthering Waves Xbox release window trailer. Like, when it's a new IP in an ambiguous genre, where do you even start? So Artificial Detective decided to start with that weird YouTube movie trailer trick where they show you 6 seconds of something action-packed and then say, stick around for the rest of the trailer you're about to watch. And then they got the nerve to say, trailer starts now. You already started, Buster. Firstly, you don't have to do that in an Xbox partner preview. Everybody here is in it for the long haul. But also, weird 6 seconds.
Just take care of your little freaking robo-zoo and let me do my thing.
None of that was appealing to me. In fact, if I could have clicked away at that point, I would have. But the beginning of the actual trailer reveals that the protagonist of Artificial Detective is a detective.
Artificial Detective 2846. Best detective in the world. Only detective in the world. I'm a detective, not a babysitter, all right?
And did you see that? There's also a kid to protect. Cool. And what's tough is that they show this dog being demonstrably useful throughout this trailer. The child is only shown to be a hindrance. They forgot to include any scene that would endear you towards that character. Now, if you are one of the sickos who goes on to read the Xbox Wire articles they're always telling you to go read,
over on Xbox Wire,
you would learn that the kid is named Mowgli. Yes, like the Jungle Book Mowgli. And that she's a tech prodigy who plays a major role in hacking, crafting, upgrading, and repairing. So I believe that the absolute easiest path to get an audience to like a video game character is to have that character be valuable to battle. And so it's good that Mowgli has all those things in the game. However, in the reveal trailer, Mowgli has none of those things. We just see her helplessly roll off of a shallow ledge, and then later we see AD find her in that position, motionless. Long close-up reaction shot, and that's it. So you know what I had to go check? I had to go look at the reveal trailer for The Last of Us. It shows Ellie being competent. She's getting bullets, she's stabbing zombies. Doesn't seem like a nuisance at all. So for Artificial Detective, I think the missing piece going into trailer 2 should be showing Mowgli doing anything useful. Anything. Or even just like being silly would be like, just do something silly. Tell him a joke. Anything Mowgli. And then just for a positive example of a top tier trailer from the showcase, it's Bluey's Happy Snaps. It's got good shorthand, good escalation, great pacing, no notes. And that's it for Delayed Input. I'll be back next week. Until then, thanks for watching. So there's one Xbox Wired promo toss that really stuck to me, this one.
Check out how Dispatch changed the game over at Xbox Wire. Spoiler, they just made all the characters hot.
Obviously, he only said that joke because Aaron Paul, the Xbox announcer, is also Aaron Paul, the voice of the protagonist of Dispatch. But I still wonder if there's some truth to that joke. And if you go and read that post, it never mentions anyone being hot at all. Instead, they're rather innocently referred to as lovable misfits. You know, they talk about them like deep characters. Like, we built every character as a real and perfect person. Someone ordinary and recognizable. Yeah, for sure. But I'm kind of with Aaron here. I think that may be a pretty big reason for why that game was so successful. Which is one of the reasons. Is that they made the characters hot. I mean, you know, they sneak in some sexy moments in that trailer. Yeah, I wasn't picking up on lovable misfit vibes there. All right, and then with the Expanse game, right? We know how important romance is to them. I think it's funny that they gave the women overtly plastic surgery lips. You know what I'm saying? Like little DuckTales mouths. And look, I don't want to judge too harshly. I don't want to come off as anti-cosmetic surgery. We all know I could probably use a little I'm just saying, I don't think I've ever seen any video game that's this serious go this hard on focusing on plump lips. They really want you, the player, to want to kiss those lips. And whatever else happens with them. We don't know how far the romance goes. But strangely enough, the most overtly sexy trailer of the entire Xbox show came from Hades 2. Hi, yeah, we're the same game that came out last year. I'm on PS5 and Xbox now. Just trying to get your attention. Sure. And that trailer's thumbnail on the PlayStation and Xbox channels looks like this. But then that same video looks like this on Supergiant's official YouTube channel. I didn't think you could show this on YouTube. Hades 2 is not that kind of game, really. You know, it's not like Blood Rain. It's Hades 2. It's just Hades 2. But I'm thinking maybe that was the mathematically proper decision to make. That, of course, yes, more people will end up buying that game because they got to see its protagonist naked from the back in one video. And so I'm thinking maybe Aaron Paul's right. Maybe we all just need to make our video game characters hotter. He does know a lot about video games.
I just wish I had more time to play. Yo!